Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? Good, good. My name is Justin Casanova Davis. I'm the town manager. For tonight's meeting, we are being recorded on BTV, so I just want to acknowledge that. I want to acknowledge the people in the audience and for people who are watching this presentation, potentially online or moving forward. We're going to have a meeting regarding our municipal aggregation program. Before I just introduce Mark Capadona of Colonial Power Group, I do want to acknowledge that this has been a multi-year process for the town of Bridgewater to get here. We're proud of our program. I want to acknowledge Carlton Hunt, the Energy Committee, for their assistance in getting this program launched, as well as their predecessors in the city and our town council to move forward. The key tenet about municipal aggregation is about making sure we have choice in the community. It's really about choice. It's making sure consumers have choices and options. Mark from Colonial Power Group is going to give a brief introduction and presentation, but we really want this to be about questions and answers. I know we have a small group here, but we welcome questions, and we look forward to launching this program in December. And thank you. And Mark, you want to give a quick presentation? You got it. Thank you.
Good evening, Mark Capadona, Colonial Power. I'm here tonight to talk to you about the town's municipal aggregation program. And you're either here for one of two reasons. You either have received this mailing, which means that you are a basic service customer for National Grid, or you've received this mailing and you're on third-party supply. I'm going to start with this mailing because this is the one that most people will be on. They're basic service customers. So, municipal aggregation, what is it? It is a bulk purchasing of electricity by the town, bringing you a choice that did not exist in the marketplace prior. So prior to this, there's been spikes in the marketplace, and I'm sure everyone here remembers 3 or 4 years ago, for National Grid, rates went all the way up to 33 cents. Your choices were basic service at 33 cents and third-party supply. This is one of the reasons the town is going to do this. The town is now bringing you a third choice, which is municipal aggregation. I want to get this out of the way up front because it's most important. This is an opt-out municipal aggregation. If you received this mailing, you need to do something or you'll be opted into the program. The town is bringing you a choice, but you need to make that choice. Now, the good news is if you did not opt out of the program, you'll only be paying a little bit less for your electron. But the town has also brought you many choices as far as what the supply could be. So they're equivalent to National Grid. National Grid's rate right now through January is 15.48 or 15.5. The town's program is at 14.1. So you'd be saving about $0.015. Which is, it's not too bad. Almost 10% savings on the supply portion of your bill. Again, this is for people that are in this. You'll be automatically switched if you don't opt out. I want you to know the town couldn't make it any easier for you. Inside that card, self-addressed stamped envelope, card, sign it, put it in here, drop it in any mailbox, and you're opted out of the program. More good news. Let's say that you opted out of the program, and then, for whatever reason, war breaks out and rates go to 33 cents again. Town's got your back. You can opt back in, no fee or penalty. Free opt-in and opt-out between National Grid and the town program. This program is truly about your choices in the marketplace and bringing you one that didn't exist. To get the best pricing and to follow the statute, it has to be an opt-out. That's how the pricing actually works. That's how they get the 14.1. I want to go back to that pricing, though. Let's say that you wanted to support renewables. There's two other products, two other choices that you can make. One of them's a National Wind product, and that's at 14.2 cents. And then there's one that's 10% Mass Class 1s. Mass Class 1. What is a Mass Class 1? Mass Class 1 is nothing more than a renewable energy project built after 1997, here and qualified by the Department of Energy Resources in Massachusetts. So if you chose that higher price, the 14.5 for that 10% Mass Class 1, you'd be supporting local renewable products. So your extra dollars would be going for renewable energy certificates to support those projects that are local and qualified. I should mention that the supplier, this price of 14.1 is fixed. National Grid goes up and down every 6 months. Now it's August and February. The town has locked in 14.1 cents. So let's just say that peace comes across the planet, and when National Grid comes out in February, I'll say, with a lower rate, and the rate is 12 cents, what are you going to do if you're in the program? You're going to opt out. No problem. You're going to opt out. War breaks out 3 months later, and rates go to 33 cents in August. What are you going to do? You're going to opt back in. If you don't want to watch that, this rate fixed for 35 months. The town has set this up so that you don't need to worry anymore about the way I look at this. The town has set an electricity hedge at 14.1. Nobody in Bridgewater needs to pay more than 14.1 cents a kilowatt hour unless they choose to. That's your choice. Make no mistake, no one's forcing you to do anything here. It's just about choice. But this program is here. You don't have to pay more than that. So I want to talk about your position, you as the homeowner. What changes for you as the homeowner in this situation? Let's say you're currently getting, you use Mass Save, low income discount, budget bill, automatic withdrawal. All of those are utility programs. They all stay in place seamlessly. This program is about the electron running through the wire. So nothing else but the price of your electricity is going to change, the supply portion of it. Everything else, net metering, budget billing, all of that is handled by the utility and will continue to be handled by the utility. If you have a problem with your bill or your power goes out, who are you going to call? National Grid. Exactly, because National Grid, unfortunately for us, is the monopoly utility. So we have no way around National Grid. National Grid, they're the utility, and we're always going to have to use them, at least at this point in time. So when you think about any time you normally interact, you're going to continue to interact with National Grid. This program will be set for the next 35 months. At some point over the next 35 months, I'll come back to the town. Hey, I'm just making this up. In 2029, we see energy futures that are down. They're at 9 cents. Do you want to enter into a contract? If they decide, they're going to send you something like this and tell you exactly the next contract's 24 months. Here's the supplier, so forth and so on. We are using a third-party supply, but by no means is this third-party supply. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands this is a municipal program. The goal is to get you informed so that you understand your choices in the marketplace, so that you're able to make those choices educated. Other than that, the decision is always left up to you whether you participate or not. I want to move on to this because this is different. If you receive this, that means that you're on third-party supply. Just want to make sure that I'm clear here. You receive this, you're automatically switched, you need to opt out. This is for informational purposes only. This is to tell you that you're on third-party supply. The utility told us that you're on third-party supply, and we can't switch you, we would be slamming you, and that's not what we're trying to do. All we want you to know is you have a third-party supplier and you should look. Let me explain. Now you have many more choices in the marketplace. So you now know what the town's rate is. You go to your National Grid electricity bill. Down the bottom, by law, there has to be a 1-800 number there. That 1-800 number, I want you to call and find out if there's a fee or penalty to leave their program. As long as there's no fee or penalty to leave the program, no problem. You don't need to say anything to them. If you wished to opt into this program, you can do so, and it would automatically drop you from that program. But I want you to do a little negotiating. I'm going to make up a rate. You're paying 16 cents with a competitive supplier. Say to them, hey, listen, I have an offer here for 14.1. Will you meet or beat that rate? If they were willing to meet or beat that rate, what do? Stay with the supplier. They're probably not going to offer you the 35 months. Just make sure that you put on your calendar whenever the term is, whenever that term is, that contract is going to end, you need to know that date. And the reason I say that is Normally, your original contract with third-party supply is good. It's when the contract ends, that's when they get you. They're gonna slowly ratchet up your rate, and they're gonna do it at opportune times. Let me explain. Might have a 6-month rate or a 12-month rate. They normally will start to ratchet up rates on you March, April, May. Do you know why? Shoulder months, you use less energy, they raise the rate, and now your bill stays the same. Most people don't notice. Normally, your bill might fall by $10 or $15, and they take that time and they say, hey, listen, you've gone from 600 kilowatts to 400 kilowatts, but your rate's gone from 12 cents to 14 cents. No difference. They've been working this. The Attorney General says, if you stay with basic service over the last, rather than, and this is cumulative, over the last 5 winters, Massachusetts would have saved $625 million. That's how much, I don't want to say, this is their business, and I'm not a big fan of it. That's why I'm a giant fan of aggregation. Fully transparent, give everyone the information they need, allow them to make the decision they want to make in the marketplace. So, again, third-party supply, decisions to make. Make sure you look on your bill because you're going to be surprised what you find out that you're paying for per kilowatt hour. Have that discussion and move forward. This, opt out. If you do nothing by November 18th, you're going to be switched. What will switch? It'll still be a single bill. All of your benefits will still stay in place. I want to make sure that I'm clear so that everyone knows going forward. The way that you always know on your national grid bill, it will always, always say Bridgewater Ag. This time it's going to say Dynegy. They're the supplier of record. Next time it could say Bridgewater Ag, Constellation, Direct Energy. This is competitively bid, so we don't know who's going to have or what the term, those kind of things, but it will always say Bridgewater Ag. So at the end of the next 35 months, I'm going to come to the manager and ask him what he thinks. Everyone is going to be notified before that rate changes with a postcard similar to this. It's simply going to tell you, I'm making this up, it's a 24-month term with Constellation. I'm going to make it sound good. The rate's 12 cents. So again, the town is going to let you know what the rate is. You'll be able to check that. The one thing I want you to know, if at any point you have any questions about this program, you can always call Colonial Power Group. And let me explain Colonial Power Group, Dynegy, the town, and the utility. So couldn't get any more confusing. We, Colonial, work for you. Town has hired us so that you have an expert working for you in the marketplace, answering your questions, making sure if you want to get out of the program, you get out of the program. If you want to get back in the program, you can get back in the program. We're always in the marketplace. We work with about 100 different communities across Massachusetts. We're in the marketplace all the time. All of that happens. So we're here to help the town. The supplier was the low bidder. This went out to bid. There was 4 different suppliers bidding on it. This was the low supplier for this term, and this supplier, they go on the National Grid utility bill. Those are all the players in this aggregation. Apologize for it being so complex, but that's how MuniAg works. The reason I like it is the transparency of it. That's what I have for you tonight. Now I want to answer your questions. Any questions you might have. I have one thing I want to mention before, very important. Lots of people now have solar on their roof. Solar works identically. It's just another utility program. I say it works identically. It works identically, but there's a but here. The utility, because they can't make any revenue on solar, they always pay you the utility rate. I'm going to use right now. So while say you have solar on your roof and you're using electricity from the grid, you're going to be paying $14.1. When you're putting kilowatts on, they're going to credit you your bill at the $15.4 because that's the difference in rates. That's wonderful. the knife cuts both ways. I just want to make sure. Let's just say that this rate's going to be stable for 35 months. Their rate comes down to 12 cents. So it's kind of on steroids, right? So you would then be paying, when you're using power, the 14.1, but they would only be crediting you the 12. So it goes opposite ways. The utility always pays basic service. It's simple to remember. If you're watching rates and you have solar, if the aggregation rate is above that, you're paying a little bit more than you're getting credited for. If you currently have a credit on your bill, that credit's going to stay. The utility program, if you want to use Mass Save, that's still going to work. All of that is in place. So that is my small presentation to make things easy, but I want to make sure that I can answer everyone's questions that they might have. Someone, yep, right there.
Yeah, so I guess if I read between the lines, you made this an opt-in because you needed the numbers in order to get the discount, right?
It doesn't actually work that way, but the statutory, it's an opt-out, though, not an opt-in, sir.
No, but everybody was automatically opted in, and the
Correct.
reason they were opted in was to get that discount.
So they get a better idea of the pool, that is correct.
Yeah, so if you want to opt in, opt out, like you were saying,
Yes.
would you just be dealing with this number that you provided us here?
You could deal with just us, Colonial, the number I provided, to go back and forth, or you can go on colonialpowergroup.com and you can do it yourself.
Right.
Yep.
But when you say just Colonial, do you mean this, or is there same number on what we got mailed?
All the same numbers
the
for
same?
Colonial. There's
Okay.
also, you could call the supplier and opt in and opt out as well.
Okay, if you have a problem with your bill, are you talking to National Grid, or are you talking to you?
So if the problem is with National Grid, always, billing issues are National Grid. Say you're not satisfied, you now have Colonial to help you, and we're more than willing to help if you have a problem on your bill.
Right, but it would just be on the basic portion of the bill
That's correct.
going to be affected. So if there's a problem with that, I talk to who, Colonial or them?
If there's an issue, are you saying that the rate is wrong, or tell me what your problem is? We're going to help you on anything that's on the supply side, but we would also help you if you called and said, hey, listen, for some reason I didn't read my meter or something happened. We're
Right.
happy to, call this number, figure this out, and so forth.
Okay, is this just a town of Bridgewater plan, or is it aggregated with other communities, and therefore by pooling all those communities, you get that type of discount?
This is just a Bridgewater plan. More than enough customers here to go out to the marketplace.
Okay, all right, good enough, thank you.
No, you're welcome. Great questions.
Gina, please use the mic because we're recording it and want to make sure the question is heard.
Okay, apologize for my voice. I have a cold. I received the big postcard, and I also received a letter. So do I opt in or opt out?
Yep. So I have a question for you. You most likely have 2 meters at your house.
Actually, I do.
One of them is on competitive supply. The other meter is on basic service. So you get to decide whether you want to call the third-party supplier and find out what the rate is there, or just go look on your electricity bill, and you can find out. The other bill for that meter, you need to opt out if you don't wish to participate.
Okay, thank you.
It's a great question. Doesn't happen often, but yes.
Actually, Mark, while some other questions might be formed, I have a question for you, because one unique thing about this, what if you didn't receive a mailer? Can you tell us why you wouldn't have received a mailer if you're on a supply?
This is a great question. It's two-part for me. So I just want everyone to know we're using utility-grade data. But if you didn't receive the mailing, one of two things has happened. One, you have a supplier block on your account. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, the phone rang every night at dinner time and someone was trying to sell you electricity. If you ever called National Grid and said, hey, I'm getting bothered and so forth, they'll automatically put you on a do not call list and do not mail to. It's a supplier block. Either that or the data that we receive from the utility is faulty and you just need to call us and we'll work through the issue. Most likely it's a supplier block. You should have received one or the other. If you haven't received the mailing, you need to call National Grid, let them know that you want to remove the supplier block, give us a call and we can get you opted into the program, or go online with your electricity bill and opt into the program once you remove that supplier block. It's a great question. More questions? Yes.
Can you walk through the credit part of the bill? It got a little bit confused. So if Grid has a rate
Yes.
and we have a lower supply rate, we get credited, we get money, or we don't get money?
You get money at the basic service rate. Keeping in mind, National Grid is always going to pay basic service. So the way it works right now, you're going to pay more than you're using. You'll get credited 15.4. When you're actually out in the grid using power from the grid, you're going to pay 14.1. It's a win-win. I just wanted to make sure that I was clear. It doesn't always mean that it's a win-win. The aggregation price is here. That means that they're going to be putting on, when you're actually getting credited for your generation on the roof, I'll still stay at 15 and I'll come down. Basic service is 12, we're at 14. When you're generating electricity, they're going to be crediting your bill at 12 cents. If you're part of the aggregation, you're paying 14.1. That's the delta. That's always going to happen.
Next time, could you actually have some kind of a graphic? Because I'm a visual learner.
Sure.
And if you could have a graphic that explains that a little bit better,
Sure.
I would really appreciate it.
Not a
Thank
problem.
you.
Yep.
I just have two questions. What did you say would be on the bill? Would it say Dynegy or Bridgewater Ag?
It
Or
will
both?
say both. What I want you to know is if you're part of the aggregation, it will always say Bridgewater Ag. That's how you know you're part of the aggregation. The supplier comes next as Dynegy in this contract. The next contract is going to say Bridgewater Ag, could be Constellation, could be Direct Energy. But I just want you to know that tells you that ag, yep, I'm on the town program.
Okay, and I'm just for curiosity's sake, what are some of the renewables? You said there are renewable energy credits under the optional programs. What are those?
So more than 90% of those are going to be solar and wind. So, and most of them right now, because there's still an SREC program, are wind recs. But wind qualified in Massachusetts. Some of it, I just want everyone to know, is outside, but still qualified in Massachusetts to receive that rec. Some New Hampshire, Vermont, even some in another ISO in New York. But still qualified in Mass, so they get the rec. The rec is nothing more than every megawatt they put on, they get one renewable energy certificate, kind of a financial security that we have to buy. You're welcome. More questions?
How often can I opt in and opt out, and how long does it take to switch back and forth?
Fantastic question. Unfortunately, we don't have smart meters yet, so we can only opt you in and opt you out on meter reads. National Grid does not know what we're using day to day. They take a meter read, and I'll explain. So they take a meter read, it's got 100 kilowatts on your meter. Next month when they meter read, it says 700. You've used 600 kilowatts during the month. I don't know about you, but what happens, and I just want everyone to know this, you look at your bill and you're like, oh, what happened here? I just got a meter read, so I got my bill. Now I look at it, whoa, what have my kids done? They've done something. I want to get out of the program, but I can't get out of the program until your next meter read. So on your next meter read, if you call us and opt out, we're going to get you out on your next meter read. But that just means that you're going to start accruing at whatever basic service or third party, whatever you want it to go to. But you don't see that until after you use the electricity. We use electricity and then we pay for it. So it's a great question. Although you called me, I'm going to say in November to opt out, in December I got you out on your next meter read, but you don't see that until your January bill. So it takes a couple of cycles till you see it, but I want you to know, we're not holding anyone on. This is not third-party supply. If for some reason you feel like something's wrong, we want you to call. We're going to fix that problem, because it happens all the time between the utility and the supplier. Things happen. Let us know, and we're here to help. No longer have to deal with that situation. Great question. Yeah. Just 1 second, sir. I just want to make sure it's on all the literature, but at Colonial Power Group, it's 866-485-5858, extension 1.
Did you just say that we don't have smart meters? I thought they were just put in around
Most
town.
people do not. They are going to be, it's a tariff called a grid modification, right? Grid mod. And everyone's going to get a smart meter. I have not received, I happen to live in the National Grid territory. If you have, that,
I have it already.
fantastic. For me, fantastic. When that fully gets up and running, within 2 days, we're going to be able to switch everyone. So if you call within 2 or 3 days, we'll be able to get you out of a program, because now National Grid will know exactly what you're using when. It's going to be helpful, but it's my understanding we're talking about 2028. I apologize. That's just the time frame.
All right, I want to take advantage of that question, but also the question before. You know, if we're going based on meter reads, I think one thing that we want to emphasize is that there is no fee or penalty to opt in or opt out of this program. And really, as we mentioned before, it's about choice. And so initially, the town program is offering a rate that's lower than the basic service rate that National Grid provides now. But let's say in February, for some reason that we may not know, that National Grid's basic service rate is lower than the town program. We would encourage people to opt out of the program and get on the basic service rate. There's no penalty, there's no cost, and as we mentioned just before, is based on a meter read process. And that's something that residents can determine and do themselves.
100%. And I would say this, many people that are on a tight budget do exactly that. If you're just looking for stability, I mean this honestly, this rate from a historic standpoint, it's not a rock bottom rate by any means, but from where we've been trading the last 3 years, this is a very good rate. I expect you to be super competitive at 14.1. So it's one of those things where you can kind of, if you're old enough to remember, set it and forget it. You can set this and forget it. But if you wanted to, go to colonialpowergroup.com, and always on the right-hand side, there's a thing that says basic service. Click on that. You can always find out what the basic service rate is whenever you want.
So you're the aggregator.
That is correct, yes.
Energy is the supplier.
Correct.
Okay, you can call either party if you have an issue.
That is correct.
Where do you check the rates that are currently supplied? Once we go over to you, it'll be a fixed rate, but how do we check back on the other rate in terms of what?
I'm going to give you another website. If everyone, this website's going to have basic service, it's going to have the town's aggregation rate, and every supplier rate that's being offered. So if you go to energyswitchma.gov, they're going to ask you residential, and they're going to ask you for your zip code. You put that in, and all the rate, it starts with basic service, then it's going to have the town's aggregation rate, then it's going to have individual third-party supply offers. I'm not against, if you're on your game, feel free to pick up some of those third-party suppliers. Mark my words, the rate will not stay where it is. Just make sure you put on your calendar, if it's a 3-month rate, a 6-month rate, you know a month prior to call the supplier to make sure you know what the next rate is going to be. That's all I say, buyer beware.
Mark, can we just emphasize again when the basic service rate is generally done? It's twice a year. Do you want to mention that? And then I'll
100%. So basic service rates change. It's all been kind of smoothed out a little bit. It used to be in May and November, but us as National Grid customers had a huge delta between winter and summer. So now they're August and February. That's when the rate change. You should be able to look at one month ahead of time. They have to let us know. So you should be able to find out in December and July what those rates are for basic service.
And one of the things in response to your question, sir, This program was launched by the council because they really wanted to realize a savings, an opportunity savings for consumers. And something that my group and my team here, we're committed to that endeavor too. We want residents to realize savings. We understand how it is, the economy is for people. And so we're going to be cognizant of those rates ourselves too. And if for ever any reason the basic service rate is lower than what our rate is, we're going to advertise that on our website. We're going to advertise that on our town Facebook page. So mark those months down that we mentioned before. Those are when the rates are changed. And if for any reason that rate is lower, we're going to say, hey, this rate is lower for the next 5, 6 months. Opt out. Take advantage of that savings if that opportunity ever presents itself. Otherwise, you won't hear from us, and hopefully you're realizing the savings under our aggregation program.
More questions? If there are no more questions, I don't have anything further for you tonight. I just wanted to thank you for coming out. And if there are anything, 866-485-5858, extension 1. Have a great night. Thank you. Thank you.
This meeting, November 5th at 1 at the Senior Center. Please come to that meeting, but take advantage of the resources we have here. Obviously, we've received a lot of calls in the manager's office. Occasionally, my executive assistant has assisted, but take advantage of the number that Colonial Power Group gave you. They're here to help you. They're here to help our community and answer any further questions. So thank you for coming out, and we appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you.